Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about credit card myths and facts. Now, there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to credit cards, when it comes to the impact of them. A lot of people even have a very negative connotation when it comes to credit cards, that they are bad, that they're evil, that they allow you to use more money than you essentially have. But they are a very good tool if used responsibly. That is really the big thing, guys. They can build your credit, they can rebuild your credit, they can maintain good credit habits, they can also maintain a good credit score. So let's go ahead and we'll get into the myths. All right, myth number one, you only have one credit score and one report, which is false. If you do any of your research, guys, there are three major credit bureaus in the United States. We have Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Now, all of the information should report to all three bureaus, meaning you do have three credit scores. Depending on what you're looking to do, you will actually have multiple credit scores and multiple ways to pull credit scores depending on the financial institution in the scoring models that they use. That is really the big difference. It's not just one score that kind of covers all. You can also access your credit reports for free. Annualcreditreport.com does allow you to access your credit report free. Now, it does not give you a score, but it does give you access to the entire report, which is what you want to make sure that you go over and make sure everything on there is completely accurate. Also, I would recommend a free credit monitoring service. That way, if there are any big changes to your credit score, you'll know about them ASAP. Another myth that we see out there is checking your credit score will affect them. You know that credit scores are estimations of how likely you're going to pay back your loans based on credit history. Credit history is the biggest part of your loan. Will it affect your score if you check your credit report? No. The fact is, it will not affect your score. If you're doing a hard inquiry for new loans, if you're getting new credit, if you're applying to get credit, it will affect your score. Institutions have to do a hard inquiry for those. But if you're looking to just monitor your score, or even looking again at annualcreditreport.com, that is a free inquiry that does not affect your score. Now, when you look at inquiries account for 10% of your credit score itself. So again, making sure that everything on your credit report is accurate, making sure your payments are being calculated correctly, and also that they are being reported correctly are going to be some of the biggest impacts on your score. It is up to you, guys. Nobody else is going to, check your credit report or see exactly how it's doing. If you think you have a certain score, you go to get a new, let's say, vehicle and realize your credit score is much lower than you anticipated. Well, now either there's inaccuracies in there or there was something not reported, and it is going to take you a considerable amount of time to clean that up, which is the reason why checking and monitoring your credit score on a regular basis is a really good idea. Another myth that we see is credit cards only have one interest rate. That is not correct, guys. Most people will sign up for credit cards with if it's being a promotional interest rate, 1.990% for a limited amount of time, but you really do have to read the fine print. A majority of credit cards have three. That is right, guys. Three different interest rates on a credit card. And again, reading through the fine print, most of them do have multiple interest rates. It's not one fixed flat rate. Most of them are also variable. That's the other caveat right now. As we continue to see rates increase within the United States, you might have noticed if you're carrying credit card balances on your cards, it is now much more expensive when it comes to the monthly payment, and that is due to the variable nature of the cards. Now, the three different credit scores or the rates that they do have on the card: one, a balance transfer APR. When you're moving balance to a card, it could be 0%, it could be a lower APR, but when you do the balance transfer, even most of the cards that have that 0 APR intro rate come with a fee or come with an upfront charge. Most of them charge 3 to 5% to move a balance over to 0%. So you really have to do the math and find out what is going to be most beneficial, and also trying to pay off some of the balances instead of literally just moving these balances from place to place to place. Second one that they have is a cash advance APR. Now, this is if you're actually borrowing cash with on the card. Majority of the time, the cash APR is significantly higher than the balance transfer. Where let's say your balance transfer, the average in the United States for an APR is 22%, and the cash advance might be 29.99 or 30% in the APR. The cash advance, again, majority of the time is much higher. And then the third and final APR that you have on your card is the penalty APR. So if you miss a minimum payment, if you're late on the minimum payment, a lot of places will charge you an exorbitant amount as a penalty APR, but a lot of times your card will go to that new rate. Even if you make the payment, even if you catch up on payments, a lot of times it will stay at that new rate when it comes to the card and the actual penalty APR that you're paying on there. Another myth that we've seen is you have to carry a balance on the credit card to build credit. That is absolutely not true. Guys, if you pay off your credit card in full, you really do two things, guys. Number one, it gives you the payment history, so you're paying off the card in its entirety. And with it being paid in full, you do not pay interest, which is the reason why building your credit score, there are a couple other things that you want to focus on, but those are the two big ones, guys. If you are carrying balances on your credit cards, it shows you're kind of living outside of your means, and it can negatively impact your credit score if you are carrying high balances in relationship to the amount that you have available to borrow on those cards. So again, you do not have to carry a balance. You can pay off your card in its entirety every single month. And I definitely recommend it because of your credit utilization ratios, which means the amount you have available in relationship to the amount that you actually have borrowed on that card. It will keep your score being as high as possible if you're doing really two things. One, you're making a purchase on the card during the month, and two, you're making a payment and making a payment in full, paying off that balance every single month. Another common myth we see is you can pay someone to improve your credit score. That is false. Building or rebuilding, repairing credit just takes time, guys. There is no magical quick fix. There is no instant gonna raise your credit score 40 points. Really paying down your loans, consolidating, whatever it may be, is the only and the best way to fix your score. A lot of people are just looking to make some quick money, maybe saying, hey, we can raise your score up, XYZ, if you pay us X amount of dollars. Everything when it comes to the credit report, you can do by yourself. When you're establishing, when you're building, when you're rebuilding credit, paying your credit card balances, paying off any delinquent accounts, if there's collection accounts, making at least the minimum. I cannot stress that enough, guys. Again, 35% of your credit score is based on your payment history, which is the biggest part of your credit report. So making sure, again, keeping your balances low, applying for credit when you need it. It's not about having so many credit cards out there, guys. There are a lot of good incentives, but they come with a high kind of cost. So when you look at rewards points, when you look at rewards cards, if you're paying balances or carrying balances on those rewards cards, the fact is when you look at the math and you run the numbers, you are paying for those rewards far greater than what you're actually receiving from those rewards. And the reason behind that is because you're carrying a balance. Rewards cards only really function at their best if you're paying the balance off in full for things that you're already buying. Again, if you're carrying balances on those rewards card, the rewards are simply nullified, or even less rewards than what you would get. It does sound good to get rewards, and that is how the credit card companies kind of spin it. But of course, it comes with a very big cost. All right, guys, that'll do it for the video. If you like the content that I'm covering, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.